you believe that Gaza was a factor in why Vice President Kamala Harris lost the election? When you look back and see where the country has shifted just over the last year and a half, and the attitudes that were beginning to come to the surface as a result of college protests and campus protests, the sentiment that people had that she wasn't distancing herself from the Biden administration, specifically Joe Biden's Gaza policy, do you believe that was a factor that cost her the election?
Look, I think Gaza was absolutely a factor, maybe not in the ways that people would consider it. A polling issue. You would see a lot of numbers that would say, "Oh well, young people don't actually care about Gaza or anything like that." But it just sort of is. It doesn't really pass the smell test, right? When you feel the environment that was out there, I think it sort of meaningfully reduced enthusiasm in ways that might be difficult to measure. But at the end of the day, you would see this. It was hard to say supportive things about certainly President Biden or Kamala Harris on the internet, because it would become a conversation about their position on Gaza. The protests really drove coverage in a real way. And so, my take is that in ways that may not be picked up in a traditional poll, it became an issue that made it harder to be publicly supportive, which obviously reduced enthusiasm. So can I say to you it was the reason? I don't think it was the reason. There were a lot of reasons, but certainly it was a factor.